Hey y'all, welcome back. Today we're checking out Predecimal currency, the nightmare in your pocket.
If you watch any film set or made in the UK before 1971, you might catch some very strange phrases relating to money.
Ah, you clever boy. Here's a shilling for you.
Shilling.
There'll be some change then.
Crikey, I forgot. Oh, you're 211.3 farthings.
If I give you a farthing, you can give me
Farthing.
3 bob, right?
Oh, yeah.
Bob. What?
10 shillings, sir.
Shilling again?
Sorry, I got nothing smaller.
Thank you, you've been such a help. I'm still trying to figure out your money. Is that all right?
Rip off.
That's because for centuries, the UK and Ireland used a different system of money to the
Okay, I've been to Britain one time, and the money was like Monopoly money. I had no idea what I was spending, which is kind of fun. Anyway, tell me more.
Because for centuries, the UK and Ireland used a different system of money to the rest of the world.
Okay.
Whereas today you have the pound sterling, made up of 100 pence each. Before there was a pound sterling, made up of 20 shillings, and each shilling was worth 12 pence.
One more time? Okay, hang on.
Whereas today you have the pound sterling, made up of 100 pence each.
Okay, so there's a pound and a penny. Okay.
Before there was a pound sterling, made up of 20 shillings.
Okay, so a shilling is like 5 cents? Or a nickel in America?
And each shilling was worth 12 pence.
No then. No. So, this doesn't add up. Yeah, this is a nightmare.
In ancient times, a pound sterling comes from a pound of sterling, or silver.
Okay.
And a shilling, meaning the shaving off of bits of metal to make it easier to carry. So for hundreds of years, people living in Britain or its territories had to work with this convoluted system of...
So, okay. A shilling is made of shavings from a pound? What's the definition of shilling? A former Brit coin and monetary unit equal to 1/20th of a pound or 12 pence. I still don't understand, but okay.
People living in Britain or its territories had to work with this convoluted system of base 12 and then base 20 and then base 10 way of handling money.
Okay.
The coins of this system were the farthing, the halfpenny, the penny, the threepence, the sixpence, the shilling, the florin, the half crown,
What?
the crown, the half sovereign, the pound.
Hang on. Oh, there's more.
Groat, the angel, the Armani, the fine sovereign, the guinea, the denique, the 3 farthing, the half groat.
Y'all, what? There's no way people had this memorized. Right? Nightmare. 20 shillings equals a pound and 12... Oh, I'm confused already. I'm confused. I'm just gonna let the video play for a minute, and maybe that'll explain it.
I made a couple of
That's
those
the
up.
point of the
see if you
video,
can
right?
guess
To
which
confuse
one.
me at
It's
first.
even worse if you lived in medieval Scotland, who had even more coins, like the pistol, the dollar, the rial, the lion, the ducat, the merk, the unicorn, the bawbee, the bodle, and the plaque. Those are all real names for coins in Scotland before the Union. Wales was the only sensible one of the 3 by just having 1 coin. The penny.
Way to go, Wales. Wait, what? How'd you spell penny? Ceiniog. Is that how Welsh people say penny? How do you pronounce that?
Ceiniog.
Ceiniog. Okay. Ceiniog, of course.
Union. Wales was the only sensible one of the 3 by just having 1 coin.
The
The
Ceiniog.
penny. Thankfully, by the Victorian era, most of these coins had gone out of fashion, and most people before then were so poor that they never actually saw half of those coins. But imagine being an accountant in the 17th century, though. Have fun with that job.
Oh my god. Can you imagine? No calculators? Using an abacus to do taxes? That. He's saying most of those coins that he mentioned, most people never even saw them because they were so poor. But that does make it easier on the brain.
By the 1900s, only a handful of these coins were left. The halfpenny, which was half a penny, and sometimes called the halfpenny for short, making this word the longest one-syllable word
Half
in
penny's
the world.
worth.
It's pronounced hapths. The penny.
Hapths. So a halfpenny is 2 farthings, 2 of these in 1D. What is 1D? A penny is 2 halfpennies. That makes sense. 12 of these in 1 S. Okay, I'm still confused.
Syllable word in the world.
Hapths.
It's pronounced hapths. The penny, self-explanatory. Threepence or thruppence, which is 3 pence.
3
Sixpence.
Wait, why would you need a whole coin for 3 pennies? Why not just have 3 pennies? This is too many denominations. Wait, okay, it is adding up, but all the denominations are so confusing. What the
Sixpence, which was unsurprisingly 6 pence. The shilling, which was 12 pence. This was also known as the bob. The florin,
Okay,
which was...
Okay, a shilling is also known as a bob. So that narrows one down off the list. A shilling is a dozen pennies, and there are 20 of those in £1. So there's 240 pennies in a pound? I think that's right, y'all. This reminds me of the metric versus imperial systems. Pre-metric money.
The half crown, 2 shillings and 6 pence. The crown...
What? A florin is 2 shillings, and a half crown is 2.5 shillings. There are 10 florins in £1. There are 8 half crowns in £1. Does that add up? 2.5 times 8 equals 20. That does add up. All right, it's just there's too many denominations.
which was 5 shillings, or a quarter of a pound. And the pound, 20 shillings, or 240 pence.
Okay,
And although there
got
wasn't a coin for it, there was also a guinea, which was just a more friendly way of saying £1 and 1 shilling.
That's a derogatory
This was so
term.
shops could make it seem like the item only costed £1 when they were actually scamming you
I'm
out
sorry.
of an...
I was making jokes about what is it? A guinea is what?
Which was just a more friendly way of saying £1 and 1 shilling.
£1 and a shilling is a guinea. It feels wrong to say that word.
This was so shops could make it seem like the item only costed £1 when they were actually scamming you out of an extra 12 pence. Also, every single one of these coins had a ton of slang and nicknames, so an
Threepence, Thrupney, Joey, Ticky, Trey, Troy, Twa? These are like American millennial names. Tanner? Zach? I've never met anyone named Testoon, but it's just a matter of time. Y'all, we don't need all these words. It's just confusing me. Confusing my dumb American brain.
Also, every single one of these coins had a ton of slang and nicknames, so an American or European moving to the UK or Ireland would not only have to learn this ridiculous counting method, but also all of the slang that goes with them. Let's say you're in the queue for the shop and you have 2 items. One costs £3, 16 shillings and 11 pence. The other costs £5, 15 shillings and 10 pence. Now, in the minute or two you'll be waiting in line, you'll need to work out in your head what is the total cost of both of my items and what is the minimum number of coins I can use to pay for it. You can pause the video to think about it in your own time, but here's how you'd work it out.
No, okay. I was gonna stop at it and try to do it, but I don't think I can. I don't wanna. Do the math
You can pause
for
the
me.
video to think about it in your own time, but here's how you'd work it out. 11 plus 10 is 21, and because there are 12 pennies in a shilling, that makes 1 shilling and 9 pence.
Oh,
So you carry the 1 shilling, adding up the shillings to make 32.
Okay.
There are 20 shillings in a pound, so that's £1 and 12 shillings. Carry that to the pounds column, and you get 4 plus 5 is 9, making in total £9, 12 shillings and 9 pence.
Okay. I mean, when you do it like that, it does seem like a piece of cake. But it's like there's 3 decimal points. The system needed an overhaul. I'm glad it's not like this anymore. So confusing.
Now you've worked that out, you need to find it in your coins to make that amount. What is the minimum number of coins and notes you need to pay for this in exact change?
Give them a 10-pounder. And make them do the
The answer is
change.
a £5 note, 4 pound notes or coins, 2 crowns, which is 10 shillings total, a half crown, which is 2 shillings 6 pence, and a 3 pence, making 9 pence. 9, 12, and 9. If you found that too
What?
easy, here's the same puzzle, but pretend these are the only coins that you have in your pocket. Have fun with that. Perhaps
No,
if you grew
no,
up
I'm
with
not
this
doing that.
system, you'd be a bit faster at this, but it's still an awful lot of mental work that everyone had to go through virtually every single day. If you have a British grandparent, go ahead and ask them what it was like. Obviously, this system is ridiculous. It's overly complicated, an unhelpful way of pricing things, and with the advent of computers, it was going to make the digitization of money a lot more difficult. It was time to change. Ideas for decimalizing the pound go back as far as 1824, and various attempts at it had been done since then. By the 1860s, most of the world's countries and colonies had switched to decimal currency. But as with all things, we had to do it differently to those smelly Europeans because we're British and we're a special island. So Britain and most of her colonies continued using a currency system from the medieval times
until 1971.
In the
Wait. They were doing that until 1971. The rest of the world switched over in 1824 or before that. It's 150 years or something like that. Or it would be £1, 10 fivers, and I don't know.
In the 1960s, a parliamentary commission on how to improve and streamline the UK financial system returned with the suggestion of switching to base 10 currency.
Nice.
Ireland did the same because after Irish independence in 1922, they had decided to peg the Irish pound to the British pound for reasons we will discuss another time.
Okay.
Some considered changing the name.
What? Tell me now. Probably a church thing. The Irish pound had been introduced in 1941, but it had been linked to the pound sterling until 1979. The two currencies drifted apart in the years between then and the introduction of the euro. But why? History of the Irish pound. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, this is saying for stability. But then in the 1970s, when high inflation in the UK threatened price stability in Ireland, alternatives were considered. Okay.
Reasons we will discuss another time.
I think I know why.
Some considered changing the name of the currency entirely to the Britannia or the Royal or the Noble, but it didn't catch on. The initial plan was for there to be 100 pennies in a pound and keeping the shilling so that there would be now 5 shillings in a pound. Then they realised they could just turn the shilling into a 20 pence coin and delete the shilling from their plans to make it even easier. The new pound would stay equal to £1. A crown would be equal to 25 pence, a florin would now be worth 10 pence, the shilling would be worth 5 pence, 3 and 6 pence would be withdrawn. They'd be replaced by 1 and 2p coins.
Get rid of that 2p. You don't need a 2p. You don't need a 2p. Hang on. Let me just get that in my brain. So, in my dumb American brain, a pound is $1. So, a shilling would be worth 20 pennies.
Then they realised they could just turn the shilling into a 20 pence coin and delete the shilling from their plans to make it even easier.
So the shilling became a 20-cent coin. Okay.
A crown would be equal to 25 pence.
So a crown is like the American quarter.
A florin would now be worth 10 pence.
A florin is like the American dime.
The shilling would be worth 5 pence.
The shilling is like an American nickel.
3 and 6 pence would be withdrawn. They'd be replaced by 1 and 2p coins.
Okay, and the 1p is a penny, and the 2p is a piece of shit.
And with that, the date was set. On the 15th of February 1971, the UK and Ireland would switch to decimal money, like the rest of the world.
Okay.
Some people resisted. They thought the new system was too complicated and nobody would understand base 10 currency. And I suppose that's true if you struggle to count to 10. Side note, a similar thing is actually happening more recently as the UK has begun to adopt the metric system for driving. Some road signs are now printed in kilometres instead of miles, and some boomers have taken it upon themselves to tape over these new signs because they think the metric system is too difficult to learn.
I reacted to a video about the metric system and America's reluctance to transfer. I think it was made by Johnny Harris. It's pretty interesting. I love that Britain made the effort to switch over, even though they still use pints. And the British pint is bigger than the American pint, just kind of fucked up. At least they're using kilometers instead of miles.
In the months leading up to Decimal Day, both old and new currencies were circulated in parallel, meaning you could solve that problem from earlier using even more types of coins. That must have been a fun year for retail workers. Some of the more silly coins were withdrawn from circulation to make things easier, like the half crown and the old half penny. Shops began to display their prices in the new system. Booklets were sent to every household with information on how to convert to the new money, and there was even a radio jingle to help people remember.
Decimalization, soon it's gonna be time to change the money around 'cause we've got decimalization, decimalization. There's 100 new pennies now for every pound.
This was
Great.
until
Great
Decimalization
song.
Day, or D-Day, when the old money was no longer accepted in shops. You'd expect there to be chaos or old people causing a fuss, but no, it went by without a problem. The only
Nice.
big change since then is that the halfpenny has been withdrawn from circulation in 1984, because inflation was too high for it to be of any use. Curiously, the shilling has apparently beaten inflation and would have more buying power now than the 5 pence coin does today. So maybe we need to get rid of some more coins and bring back the shilling? Anyway, that's the end of the story. Aside from Nigeria in 1973, the UK and Ireland were the last countries to make the switch. Most of the UK's former empire had made the switch decades or even centuries ago. Madagascar and Mauritania are the only countries who don't use the base 10 currency. Their currency works in base 5. But inflation is so high that the base 5 coins are never used. Also, some really old UK banks still use computers from the 60s that work out everything in pounds, shilling and pence. So it's nice to know your entire life savings are in safe hands. But if you're ever watching an old British film, or you've ever been transported back to London in 1872, at least now you'll know what the shopkeepers are talking about when they list off all those strange
I don't think
numbers.
I will still. I don't have that memorized. Good thing they switched over. Do shillings pop up every now and then? Recently saw a video about how America loses money whenever we make pennies. A penny costs more than a penny. Wasteful. I can empathize with the older generation resisting the change, because if you put in all that effort to memorize what a damn farthing was, I would feel like if I had to do it, then you have to do it too. It's not fair. It's still monopoly money to me. I wouldn't know what I was spending. Well, this was interesting. Thank y'all for watching this with me, and I'll see you next time. Later.